The latest satellite mapping of Antarctica. The orange line shows the long-term average for sea ice at this time of year.
The rings of the structure look like the walls of some sort of compound, like something that's been designed.
90 million years ago, Antarctica was a warm, tropical paradise, bustling with diverse plants and animals. Then the Ice Age swept in, transforming this vibrant land into the stark, icy wilderness we see today. Now, beneath about 14 million square kilometers of ice, Antarctica conceals its past under a thick, cold blanket. But what if Russia's recent statements have revealed something shocking about this icy fortress? What terrifying truth have they uncovered about this frozen desert? Before we dive deeper, it's evident that the situation is much more alarming than previously thought, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of what will astound you. Life in the cold. Recently, some of the ice in Antarctica has started to melt, revealing surprising geographical and biological wonders that were previously hidden. Scientists have found unique types of tiny organisms that exist nowhere else on Earth, and discovered unusual glaciers that produce strange, almost eerie sounds. These discoveries show just how much we still have to learn about this frozen world, and have led to some of the most fascinating and sometimes frightening findings about this remote land. As the ice continues to retreat, we are on the brink of uncovering even more astonishing secrets from this icy frontier. One particularly interesting discovery happened in a distant part of Antarctica called Allen Hills. On December 27, 1984, a team of American scientists searching for meteorites made a remarkable find. They came across a meteorite named Allen Hills, 84001, which weighed just under 2 kilograms. This meteorite is special because it came from Mars and belongs to a rare group of space rocks known as Shergotite-Knocklight-Chissignite meteorites. Antarctica, with its endless ice and snow, provides a perfect backdrop for finding meteorites. The dark stones stand out clearly against the bright white ice, making them easier to spot. Each year, researchers from the ANSMET project brave the extreme cold to search for these space rocks, and they have discovered many important meteorites, including Allen Hills 84001. But this was not the most surprising part of the discovery. Roberta Score, a lab manager from the Johnson Space Center, found the meteorite on the far western ice fields of Allen Hills. What made this meteorite so special was its age. It is believed to be one of the oldest meteorites from Mars, having formed from molten rock on Mars about 4 billion years ago. Through chemical analysis, scientists learned that this rock showed signs that Mars had liquid water on its surface at the time it was formed. In September 2005, a detailed study was conducted to learn more about the meteorite's origins. Using data from the Mars Global Surveyor and the 2001 Mars Odyssey probe, scientists determined that the meteorite likely came from a canyon on Mars called Eos Chasma in the Valles Marineris. They think a meteor hit Mars about 17 million years ago, sending this rock into space where it floated for millions of years before finally landing on Earth around 13,000 years ago. But this wasn't the most exciting part. The meteorite, known as ALH 84001, caught the world's attention when scientists suggested that it might contain signs of life from Mars. In 1996, some researchers claimed to have found evidence of tiny, ancient Martian organisms inside the meteorite. This sparked huge interest and debate about whether life could exist elsewhere in the universe. Though most of the scientific community later dismissed the claim, saying there wasn't enough proof, the discussion it started has been crucial in helping scientists explore the possibility of life beyond Earth. Even though no definite proof of Martian life was found in this meteorite, its discovery opened the door to many new scientific investigations and debates. It has deepened our understanding of Mars and kept the possibility of finding life in these ancient rocks alive and exciting. In 1974, something very unexpected was discovered near the icy regions of Antarctica. A massive opening appeared in the ice about the size of Ireland, and it was named the Weddell Polynya. This large hole in the ice disappeared just 2 years later, in 1976, only to make a surprising comeback after 40 years in 2016. Its sudden reappearance left scientists around the world puzzled and led to many questions. The Weddell Polynya's behavior is mysterious and still not fully understood. This large hole forms hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest edge of the ice, so without satellite technology, it would have gone unnoticed. It's like a giant hole was punched through the thick ice sheet. But then, after it briefly appeared again in 2016, it vanished once more, leaving researchers scratching their heads and wondering what could be causing such strange behavior. At its largest, the Weddell stretched over 31,000 square miles, making it twice as big as the entire country of the Netherlands. Scientists are still trying to figure out why it appears and disappears like this. It's a topic of ongoing research and debate, but one thing is clear. The Weddell is more than just an interesting quirk of nature. Scientists like Kent Moore, a physicist at the University of Toronto, think that understanding these unusual holes in the ice could help us learn more about climate patterns and the overall health of our planet. You see, polynyas, like the Weddell are not just random gaps in the ice. They play an important role in how the ocean and atmosphere interact with each other. These large openings allow the ocean to release heat into the atmosphere, especially during the freezing cold Antarctic winter. This release of heat can have effects on weather patterns far beyond the polar regions. And it doesn't stop there. The upwelling of nutrient-rich waters from deep in the ocean during these events can also support marine life, influencing the entire food chain and even affecting how carbon is cycled in these areas. But this wasn't the only thing that had scientists concerned. As the Earth gets warmer, scientists believe that more polynyas, like the Weddell might start appearing. This could happen because of changes in wind patterns and ocean currents driven by global warming. If this prediction comes true, there could be more frequent and stronger exchanges of heat and moisture between the ocean and the atmosphere, potentially affecting weather patterns all over the world. The mystery and potential impact of the Weddell have made it a key focus for climate scientists. Every time it appears, it gives researchers new data and a better understanding of the complex systems that control our planet's climate. It's like a natural experiment that helps scientists study the complicated processes of climate change and learn how our warming world might evolve in the future. But that's not where the story ends. Each new occurrence of a polynya gives scientists more valuable information that could help predict and lessen the effects of climate change. Studying the Weddell and other similar phenomena shows just how interconnected all of Earth's environments are. Changes in one remote part of the world, like Antarctica, can end up having far-reaching effects on weather and climate conditions across the globe. This ongoing research is crucial for more than just understanding how the ice in Antarctica works. It also has much wider implications for our knowledge of global climate. When huge openings like this appear and then disappear, they challenge our understanding of how the natural world works. Next, we explore a striking natural wonder in McMurdo Dry Valley, the Eerie Blood Falls. Antarctica's Red Wonder. In a remote part of Antarctica, in an area called the McMurdo Dry Valley, there is a strange and striking natural feature known as blood falls. Here, a bright red liquid flows out from the Taylor Glacier, making it look like the glacier is bleeding. This eerie sight, like a river of blood pouring out from the ice, was first discovered by an Australian geologist named Griffith Taylor in 1911. The deep red color of the water against the pure white ice creates a dramatic scene that captures the imagination. When people first saw blood falls, many thought the red color might be caused by red algae. But as scientists looked closer, they found an even more fascinating explanation. Using methods similar to echolocation, which helps map things under the sea, researchers were able to study what lay hidden beneath the glacier and discover where this strange red waterfall really comes from. The story of blood falls starts deep below the glacier, where there is a hidden lake filled with super salty, iron-rich water. This lake has been trapped under 400 meters of ice for about 1.5 to 2 million years. Because of the intense pressure from all that ice, the salty water is pushed up through cracks in the glacier until it finally reaches the surface and meets the air. But this wasn't the most surprising part. When this iron-rich water hits the air, a chemical reaction occurs. The iron in the water reacts with oxygen, causing it to rust and turn a deep red color. This is what creates the amazing sight of blood falls, a waterfall that looks like it's bleeding right out of the ice. For scientists, this is more than just a visual spectacle. It's a rare chance to study tiny forms of life that have adapted to survive in such an extreme and ancient environment. The lake under the glacier is like a time capsule from a very different time in Earth's history. Sealed off for millions of years, the tiny organisms, or microbes, in this water have lived completely isolated from the rest of the world. Over time, they have developed special ways to survive in one of the toughest environments on our planet. These unique microbes are of great interest to scientists because they show how life can adapt and survive under extreme conditions. But the mysteries of blood falls go even deeper. This phenomenon suggests that there may be other hidden lakes beneath the thick ice of Antarctica. These secret lakes could have their own unique ecosystems, filled with different kinds of microbes that have evolved on their own, separate from the rest of the world. Studying these extreme environments here on Earth can help scientists understand how life might survive on other planets like Mars, or on the icy moons of Jupiter, like Europa. Yet this wasn't the only exciting possibility. Blood falls is not just an interesting natural curiosity, it is a doorway to a world that has been locked away for millions of years. It gives scientists clues about Earth's past climate, how life adapts to challenging conditions, and even the potential for life in environments beyond our own planet. Research into this unique feature helps scientists understand the complex history of Earth's geology and biology. Deep beneath the thick ice of Antarctica, about 1,600 feet below the surface, there is a surprising world full of life in conditions that seem almost impossible for anything to survive. This hidden ecosystem lies beneath the massive Larsen ice shelf, which is connected to the eastern coast of the Antarctic Peninsula. Researchers recently discovered this amazing world using satellite images. They noticed an unusual groove where the giant ice shelf meets the land, which they soon figured out was actually a river flowing beneath the ice. To explore this mysterious river, scientists drilled down around 500 feet through the thick ice using a hot water hose. This allowed them to reach a hidden chamber deep beneath the surface. They then lowered a camera into this space to see what was inside. At first, they could hardly see anything because the water was filled with lots of tiny blurry particles. They worried that their equipment might not be working, but soon they realized that the problem wasn't with the camera at all. It was something much more interesting. The water was actually teeming with life. Tiny shrimp-like creatures called amphipods were everywhere, floating and swimming around the camera lens. The discovery of these creatures living in total darkness and freezing temperatures was a big surprise. It challenged what scientists thought they knew about where life can survive, showing that even in the most hidden and harsh environments, life can find a way to thrive. But this wasn't the only surprise waiting for the scientists. The discovery also showed that there is a whole ecosystem under the ice, with different life forms adapted to these extreme conditions. A researcher from the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research in Auckland, who was part of the team, confirmed how important these findings were. The team was thrilled to see life moving freely so far below the ice, proving that complex processes were at work in this hidden world. The exploration revealed more than just living creatures. It also uncovered a complicated structure beneath the ice. The ceiling of the cavern was uneven, with high and low points, and the water itself was divided into 5 layers, each with its own current flowing in a different direction. This suggested that there might be a huge network of rivers, lakes, and estuaries beneath Antarctica, something scientists have long suspected but found hard to prove due to the challenging conditions and thick ice. But this wasn't the most unexpected discovery. Just a few days after the team set up their equipment near the hidden river, a volcano called Hunga Tonga Ha'apai erupted thousands of kilometers away. The sensors they had placed in the chamber recorded pressure waves from the eruption traveling all the way through the underground caverns. This surprising observation showed how connected our planet is. An event in one part of the world can have effects in places that seem completely isolated. Now discover a surprising singing ice phenomenon on the vast Ross Ice Shelf. Antarctica's musical ice. In the vast, frozen landscape of Antarctica, something truly unexpected was discovered on the Ross Ice Shelf, one of the largest ice shelves in the world. Scientists originally set out to measure the movements of the ice, but they ended up finding something amazing. The ice was singing. This discovery happened when a team of researchers set up 34 super-sensitive seismic sensors between 2014 and 2017 to track the vibrations of this huge ice shelf. As the team studied the data, they noticed a continuous vibration in the upper layers of the snow. But this wasn't just any noise. It was more like a constant hum, a low sound created by strong winds blowing across the rough surface of the glacier. The ice shelf was vibrating at a very low frequency, around 5 hertz, like a deep musical note. And this song wasn't always the same. Changes in the weather, like storms or shifts in temperature, changed the way the snow's surface moved, which in turn changed the sound of the ice's hum. Julian Chaput, a scientist from Colorado State University who led the study, compared the sound to a flute being played continuously. The weather changes, especially storms and warming periods, affected the snow dunes on the ice, causing the ice's song to change slightly in pitch and tone. It was almost like the ice shelf had its own musical instrument, playing a tune that kept changing with the environment. But this wasn't the most surprising thing. This strange singing wasn't just an interesting sound, it could be a powerful tool for scientists. By listening to these sounds, researchers believe they can monitor changes in the ice shelf's condition from far away. The way the ice sings could help scientists create a detailed picture of its stability and even predict where and when the ice might crack or break apart. Although the sounds made by the Ross Ice Shelf are too low for human ears to hear, they are important signs of what's happening in our environment. This song acts like a natural indicator, showing the effects of climate changes on the ice. As the planet warms and these huge ice shelves respond, understanding these sounds could be key to predicting and lessening the effects of climate change on polar ice. The idea that the world's largest piece of floating ice is essentially talking through vibrations is a fascinating thought for scientists and environmentalists alike. This discovery raises new questions. What else might we learn from the sounds coming from Earth's coldest places? Could it be that someday, changes in the environment might even cause the ice's song to reach frequencies we could hear without any special equipment? But that wasn't all there was to it. As scientists continue to study these vibrations, they are discovering new ways to monitor the health of polar regions without needing to be there in person. This not only helps us better understand the current climate crisis, but also improves our ability to predict and prepare for changes that lie ahead. As research continues, we might even hear other ice shelves and glaciers around the world, which could change how we study these important parts of Earth's climate system. Each different sound from the glacier can give us valuable clues about what's happening deep inside the ice, where we can't easily see. This discovery at the Ross Ice Shelf not only opens up new scientific possibilities, but also deepens our respect for the natural world. It shows why it's so important to keep studying the Earth's polar regions, which are among the most sensitive to changes in our environment. In the cold, empty expanses of Antarctica, the ice itself is telling a story of change, survival, and resilience. Do you think we might eventually hear our planet's cry for help through these ice vibrations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your feedback to help us explore more mysteries of our changing world.